Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. All right, guys. Midweek was a decent day. Mostly, it was a very bullish day. We will talk about how we were long on the Magnificent Seven all day long. That was the key trade today. So we will take a look at that. And of course, we had a Tesla all-time high breakout that we're going to discuss today as well. Our top fillet in the community. So, anyways, before I start, just a quick recap for anybody who's new to me, new to my Twitter, X, YouTube, or new to our community. All these trade recaps and all these teachings are either from. So we trade a repeatable trading system called Ripster EMA Clouds that thousands of traders across the world are used to trade consistently. We trade repeatable system. We do not trade anything random. We trade repeatable system, be it a day trade, swing trade, or be it investing. Every morning, me and my team, we create the game plan for the day for the community. I often share this game plan on X as well. So this morning, our game plan, we had news plays, earning plays, market plays are the market dependent stocks, which also have news, and then we have upgrades and downgrades. And if we have separate list for the low floats that we maintain. In addition to that, we also have our day 2 day 3 repeatable strategy. MD was a nice trade from our day 2 day 3 setups. We will recap that. Then we also have our daily levels, which we provide: SPY, QQQ, IWM, VIX, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Boeing, Amazon, all those the market dependent stocks which we trade with these levels. You can use the support levels, resistance levels with the EMA Cloud system to trade on your own. We will talk about these levels, how these levels really helped us to make some good trades today on the market. I'm usually on the voice first few hours of the market open, guiding everybody through the trades and talking about the market, any longs or any shorts based on our game plan. We have all of our tools in the community. We have option flow scanners. We have 3 option flow scanners, stock scanners. We have bookmap to look at the order flow. We have a bunch of share screens. I'm live with my live stream, my screen live, and I'm live on voice first few hours of the market open. We also have our trading floor where hundreds of traders are sharing trade ideas in the market, and we have breaking news audio alerts, breaking news squawk to keep eyes on anything that's moving in the market and watching the opportunities to make money in the stock market, keeping our losers small and our winners big based upon our repeatable setups. We have our morning 9:30 setups, we have 10 a.m. setups, midday setups, and then we have end of the day setups. And those are repeatable setups which we usually cover in this recap and review. So, anyways, that's a quick introduction. Let's start with the recap. So let's start with the market recap on the SPY QQQ today, how we traded market long all day and how we held the longs on the SPY and QQQ and the markets all day for a hugely profitable trade. You can trade SPY, you can trade QQQ, or you can trade the leverage ETFs, SPXL, or other TQQ, SQQ. So there are many ways to trade the market, or you can trade even futures based upon these teachings that I teach you every day. So let's see what was happening with the market this morning. Let's look at, so this morning we were looking at, let's see here. So, the CPI this morning. So this morning, the CPI came in line, right? It came in as expected. So that means there was nothing really crazy about the CPI, and it's expected that the Fed are going to cut the rates again next week, and Canada already cut the rates this morning. So overall, market liked the inline CPI. So market was bullish. Market was not bullish at the start for everything. Tech was bullish, which means Magnificent Seven, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Netflix. They were the leaders this morning, and that's what we longed, and that's why we longed the market. That was the reason. So let's look at what was our setup today. Why did we long the market? Let's look at here. The first thing to note was the 1 hour trend turned bullish. So 1 hour trend turned bullish on SPY and it turned bullish on QQQs. You can see Ripster MTF Clouds. That's one of my indicators that we use every day for our trading setups that turned bullish. That tells me that 1 hour is trending bullish. We were short on the market last few days because 1 hour was bearish. You can see that how 1 hour was rejecting, and then finally 1 hour turned bullish on SPY, 1 hour turned bullish on QQQ. QQQ was stronger than SPY because QQQ is more tech focused, and SPY was still strong but not as strong as QQQ. So anyways, as soon as the market opened, we already had a plan in the pre-market. We already know the market is bullish. Our clouds are bullish. As soon as I saw this, this breaking out right here over this yesterday highs on QQQ, pre-market highs, yesterday highs, that's called inside out. So you want to long when the price is moving out of the previous day highs. That's always a first signal to long the market and get in the long. That's why I told everybody QQQ breakout long over yesterday highs, SPY breakout long over yesterday highs, and after that it was just managing the trade. I did tell everyone that you can trade 526 calls or you can trade 606 calls on SPY for this long setup, and then we started to push. It was all about managing our trades. Our 526 calls went 100%. We went into 10 a.m. and the 10 a.m. we started flagging, and then we had a flag breakout at 10 a.m. You can clearly see the flag breakout that we had at 10 a.m. You can see that how it was pushing the flag breakout of the 10 a.m. So I continuously told everyone either roll or keep the runners. When I say roll, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. You can watch my previous videos. You get by the further options, right? You can maximize your profits. So anyways, all day guidance, we logged some profits at 10 a.m. and then, QQQ's 526 went 150% at that around that time. SPY went 50%. SPY calls went 50%. There was no reason to cut, and told everybody to hold as long as 512 holds, as the trend holds. So that was the long all day. And why were we long? Because we will talk about our other longs. I continuously talked about Amazon, Google, Apple, everything was strong. So, you need to analyze the market. Everything was so strong in the morning. And because of that, market held the trend. You see, even if Apple gave up, this was the Apple 512 shorts and flushed, but the market stayed strong. The tech stayed strong because the strength in other names like Google, Tesla, Microsoft, that helped the market to push higher. If you look at our market analysis today, if you look at what sectors were kind of strong, you can see that from the start of the day. We can take a look from the morning. You can see that. Let's see here. Right, you can see that crypto was strong. SAMIs, the top IBD 50, Cathy Wood stocks, tech XLY is the tech. That's the light green line here. That was strong right from the open. You see that all those names stayed strong all day long, right? SAMIs were kind of weak, but they later came back up later in the day. Crypto was strong all day. So you analyze what sectors are strong and what sector is running the market. So when you see that so many sectors are strong, you stay long, and you stay long on those setups. That's how I guided everybody to the longs. And if you look on those calls, let's just look at QQQ calls. You don't have to cut. If you want to maximize your account, you need to hold those calls all day long and do not hesitate. Right? 526 calls, they went from $1 all the way to $4. There's a 300% gain on the 526 calls. Let's say you added $2,000 worth of those calls. Once they go 100%, you take your $2,000 investment out and you leave the half, and you left the half. That $1,000 you left turned into another $2,000, right? If you had 20 contracts, you took 10 off and logged $1,000. The rest of the 10 contracts also pushed higher and you made another $2,000. So this was a trend day, guys. That's how it works. And you can see that we can look at the SPY calls as well. If you want to see the SPY calls I gave in the morning, let's look at those SPY calls that were, let's see, what was those were 606. Let's look at them. SPY gave back at the end of the day, but we were long gone before that. These are 0 DTEs. That was moving slowly, but once we had this flag breakout, you can see how the flag breakout is similar to the SPY 606 in the money calls, riding the clouds. That from 140 to $2.42. So that was also another, 140, 50% gains on the SPY calls. But like I said, the QQQ was much stronger. It was much better long. You can either long Microsoft, Google, Amazon, or you can stay long SPY, or you can trade leverage ETF longs, TQQ, right? Look at the TQQ. It's a leverage ETF SQQ. Even if you added at $87, it gave you $2 by end of the day, right? So your stops are right under it. You just ride it. So you can see that QQQ was a nice one, right? Even if you missed the morning ads, you can add here on these pullbacks, on these flag setups. You will not always have 10 days guys like this, guys, but when you have these 10 days, you need to hold your positions and utilize, right? There was no bullish trend last 2 days, but today was a bullish day. It was CPI catalyst. The magnificent sevens are strong. So if you keep doing these things, wait for these setups, you will grow your account steadily and nicely. So but you need to repeat all these concepts that I teach you every day. So beautiful day for everyone in the community. Let's go to the next one. So I just want to go look at the semiconductors here. So semiconductors were weak earlier in the morning, but by end of the day they started to gain steam, right? So you see that there were two. It tried to push over MTF clouds, held 3450, pushed again, and then it rallied all day. Was not touching we were mostly focused in the morning on the other names, but semiconductors gave you long setups later in the day. That's why we track the semiconductors every day. So I'm just going to try to show you here that market was running in the morning, but when semiconductors joined the fun, QQQ also starting to push further, right? There was a NVDA long. I gave them MTF alerts here on NVDA. So that was a nice breakout. Even if you missed the dip, that's fine. You take long here, you can have a decent scalps. And same for AMD. It was bearish, but then AMD gave a 512 calls, then it gave a 3450, and you can see the nice pattern. Learn these patterns. If you want to be a professional day trader, you need to learn these patterns. Right? Because these patterns give you a lot of conviction with the cloud system. So we'll see what happens right now. AMD, if you remember, we broke big support on AMD. That's why we cut our swing, and we saved a lot of pain. For the swing perspective, we'll see if this keeps basing, we can try to get back on the swing. But definitely there was an opportunity on these calls, and you can see the difference on AMD last few days. What was the difference and the difference today, right? Selling under clouds. Now finally curling on the 10-minute charts for the first time. It got over 3450, and then when it gets over the 3450, you can see that smaller time frame long. So the clouds are beautiful. That's why clouds are so successful. That's why thousands of traders use the clouds, because the system is simple. The system shows you when to long, when to short. So anyways, the semis were good later in the day. AVGO was a big nice setup this morning. I talked about it, that if semis run, focus on AVGO, and that was a good setup. Never broke the clouds. You can see there. So many opportunities, guys. ARM, NVIDIA, Qualcomm was a little choppy. Taiwan was choppy. Other semiconductors were choppy, but definitely there was money to be made on these semiconductors. So always see when the market turns, when the sector starts to turn. You can clearly see, if I look at the semiconductors, they started to rally middle of the day and started to push, and closed one of the top sectors by end of the day, and that helped the QQQ longs that we were doing. We were already making money on QQQs, but semi push helped with that. So hopefully you learned about that, and let's go to the next one. All right, guys, let's talk about the big one today, Tesla. Kind of the start of the day on Tesla was not good. I play amateur moves. I teach you about amateur trend moves every day. Today is a great example of those. So anyways, Tesla had another PT raised by Goldman Sachs, and the plan was bullish bias versus the cloud, no go under 405. Level was not clean. So my plan was, if it falls 405, I will hold the longs, and when it breaks that, I will cut it. And I followed the plan, and it paid us well later in the day. Let's look at Tesla here. So let me go on the bigger chart here. Before I go there, let me talk about the big breakout on Tesla. If you have been following me long enough, I have been a big bull on Tesla for a long time. And let me show you something here. That's something you will learn from. If you are an investor, right? If you're an investor, by the way, I will be launching my long-term investment and swing service research next year, early next year. So the capitalize, a lot of you investors and long terms have been requesting me for a long time to do focus more on that as well. I will focus there, but I will show the way how I invest and how I trade in the long term, because for me it's always fundamentals and with the charts, right? The charts are always important to me. So let's see here. So let's look here. So on October 24th I posted this, right? This is a monthly candle. It's a monthly breakout setup, right? So you have to see what makes sense to you, to your eyes. To my eyes, this was a great setup. This was a monthly breakout setup, big level here, 5.5 Fibonacci, 0.61 Fibonacci. And as an investor, you trade monthly candles, and your target is always all-time highs on this particular setup. And I said it will be epic. Can't wait for before and after, right? So no hindsight for me. I always show the before. And this is today, guys. This is today. You see that? So these are the kind of things you need to learn as an investor, and you hold for your target long term, right? Even before that, I did that. There was I had. Let me see if I can show you that back when it was at. So on April 24th, I posted a long-term article that Tesla provides a great risk reward for investors from that level. It was trading at 160 at that time, right? It's already up. Almost 200% from there. You can see that how this panned out, everything, how the chart panned out, how the Tesla long-term thing panned out. And if you're a trader investor, you can see that how that, let's see here. Yeah, so I talked about in detail. You can see the link there and study about the long-term trend on Tesla, right? From there, downtrend break, and the same thing you can analyze it. This was a weekly chart, but if you go on the monthly chart, then we had a nice curl from here, and then we had these breakouts. You see all these levels I had, and those broke out. As a trader, as an investor, you should focus on that. So anyways, I know a lot of traders did really well. I got a lot of nice DMs from the investors as well today. But the point is to understand these setups, right? So this was a long-term view which panned out for a lot of my followers, a lot of traders. Now let's look at Tesla, what we were doing today. We have been working on Tesla every day. Tesla has been good to us since the elections. When there's a catalyst and when the stock is trending, you need to stay with the trend. You can watch my previous videos on YouTube, how we've been trading Tesla, but today was amazing. So let's look here. I was long right away, those 410 calls, but this is the amateur move. So this amateur move gave up. So I got it because I know it could fall below, but you see that where it bounced of the pre-markets. You don't really have to add here. You can add it, but real long comes when it reclaims the 405. Remember the level I talked about here in the pre-market, right here, 405. So when that's reclaimed, that becomes a trend move, and that's when I told everybody back bullish, stops at 405, breakout at 410. So that was my guidance, and then we started to push. I told everybody to move the stops at 407, 408, and 412 was our new breakout. And then we started to break out. No panic. It's holding. You hold. Never breaking the clouds. You hold. Nice little flag, because this was an all-time high. So this was an all-time high right here at 415 breakout. After we broke out 415, I gave the target of 420, 425. So you could roll into your 420 options or 425 options. No reason to cut. I told everybody, no reason to cut. Take some profits off. If you have 10, 20 contracts, take 3 off, take 4 off. If you take everything off, use some profits and buy the next options. I've covered that a lot, but at the end of the day, it was a huge winner for whole community, because, and even on Twitter, I guided on this setup on Twitter as well. This morning, if you want to see here, let's see where it is. You can see that I was guiding on this Tesla all day long. Amateur move, trend move. But something to note here is this. This is the 410 calls. You see I was long on the 410 calls. We dipped. We lost around 20 to 30%. Stopped out, but then the same 4 to 10 calls you can get back in at 750, and they went to 13, and they're probably higher right now. Let's see where they are. And so don't be scared, and you can be long if just don't trade amateur move. Wait for the trend move if you're day trading it. I don't mind it, because amateur, I try to minimize my loss. If it never curls, I didn't actually even added this curls. I added it later back, but I guided my community that you can add here on these curls. On that, those 410s went from let's see here. So 410s went from that $750, $17, right? More than 150% there. So you can see that how the 410 calls went. And you could always roll into the next call. You could roll into 425s, you can roll into 420s. You see the 420s, you went from like $4, $5 all the way to $11, 100%. So that's how you do it, guys. A lot of traders in the community are still swinging it. On a big picture level, I think if Tesla holds this 415 tomorrow, it can keep pushing for a bit, because this is an all-time high breakout. It's not done yet, but we do need a breather. I mean, we have been running for a few days, so we'll watch tomorrow the pullbacks. There might be some profit taking soon enough, but as a long-term investor, you don't need to cut it. You need to hold it as long as the 1 hour trend holds. Even if Tesla falls back to 400, that's fine. That will be a buy point to buy it at 400. So Tesla is definitely not done yet, and definitely a good trade, good day trade, good investment, good long-term investment, good swing trade, breaking out all-time highs. Sure, nothing is too high. It can still run a lot before having a big pullback. But the point is, we will find our best risk reward opportunities and we'll trade it. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. If it's a small pullback, profit taking, we'll see. You can scalp the short side, but as a swing trader long term, we will still look for a more push on that, because the key here is to hold the all-time high breakout. That's the key, guys. All right, hopefully you guys learned a lot about this Tesla trade. Great trade in the community, great trade for the Tesla investors who have been following my teachings, and everybody who held their conviction. When there's a catalyst, there's technicals, everything lines up, market is hot. These are the opportunities to make money, because when this happens, that's not the time you make money, because that's time you lose money. But this is where you enter on those calls, and this is when, as an investor or a trader, you make money, right? So understand the trend and you will make much better financial investing decisions. All right, let's talk about Google next. All right, so again, why is Google breaking out? Google is also an all-time high breakout, also a daily chart breakout, and Google had a catalyst. Google released their AI chip, quantum chip. That's a big news. And when the stock responds to a news that it continues to stay bullish and hot, you need to you need to watch that. You need to really watch that when stock does that, right? So let's see here. Go on the Google. I'm going to show you why we were long Google. Of course, let's look at our pre-market planning here on Google. The levels were 186, 187, 82. Those were our breakout levels. But then I saw we have a lot of option scanners in the community, so I noticed a lot of flow coming in all of the scanners. But that's when I was shouting on the voice that it's insane amount of flow. You can see that there was these calls coming in at in the morning on the other platforms as well, on the Ghost board, but these are from the chatter flow. 9:30 to 186 call, 185 call, 185 call, 190 call, 200,000, right? Insane dollars, 300,000, right? Almost a million worth of the flow was coming in. So that tells you that it's going to be good, right? I talked about Google insane flow that's coming. I told everybody that you can trade that, and it is a big breakout right at the open as well. And then I did share this setup. Let's show you the setup that we had on Google. Let's see if we can find that. Where was it? Yeah, right there. So you see that there was a breakout at 192 40s, and then even before that it was a long, but you could still trade that all-time high breakout. It's a setup, and I told about buying the pullbacks on the cloud. You see this is a 512 pullback. That's where you buy closer to 191, and then I mentioned the breakout on Google at 194, and you can see that all the prices. My final target 196. 200 is a magnet. We should get there if tomorrow maybe, but that's why I said we will see 200. Not sure if today, but we will see it soon enough. And this is all about having the conviction with the flow, the setup, all-time highs, right? So Google was a great trade in the community. A lot of the I did a poll in the community, and 80% of the people were long in the community because market was strong, QQQ was strong, and so you need to capitalize on these long big winners, right? At the same time, Amazon was strong, Amazon was going, Meta was going. So a lot of those names were really strong. Let's go to the next one. So let's look at Meta. So Meta was same thing, a lot of flow, very strong, flag breaking out, but then there's a news hit on Meta, and then I told everyone that Meta is breaking this 512. So from that 512, it faded all the back to 631. You can see there is a couple of dollars short there. So just want to show the power of the system, when to get out, when to stay in. 10 a.m. flag, stay long. You can see the flow shared by ghost board all day long in the community. So that ghost board the flow gives you some more conviction as well. We have all these flows on our option flow scanners, which really helps us to stay long on the market. Next we're going to talk about our other market longs. Netflix was a beautiful long. Let's look at Netflix here. So Netflix was in the game plan that JP Morgan upgrade, right? 1010. Check daily sheet. Trade was this the MTF. The levels on Netflix were pretty clear. Right here, 927, 929. Once it broke out, I mentioned on the voice, that's a good long, take it long, flag breakout, all day guidance. My final target was 944, not 45. So we did not really get it, but it ran from 928s all the way to 940s from the guidance, and you can see that. Why? Because it's one of our main watch list plays. Analyst upgrade, very bullish chart. You look at the daily chart, it's breaking all-time highs. Not as strong as Google, but definitely there was a money to be made in Netflix. You can see the timestamp guidance here, and you can see the pre-market planning, all my teachings, and this is the day where you make money on the market longs. This is how you do it. Find your conviction, find your favorite setup. If you do not like the Netflix, or you trade QQQs, you trade Tesla, you trade Apple, or whatever you want to trade, right? So let's go to the next one. Let's look at some other setups. There are a lot of MTF Cloud setups today. I'm going to discuss ULTA. ULTA was MTF breakout. You could long from 417. Was to I didn't look it in the time, but I did give the guidance. You see, I highlighted it again. Tier 1 analyst upgrade, Morgan Stanley, right? Long over MTF, short under it. So you long it. So you wait for this push, this pullback right here. This is where you long, right? And as it pushes over MTF clouds, you hold or you add more, and then you can see that from 418 it went all the way to 430, 432, right? So you could literally make $12 per share profit on there on ULTA. So this was the MTF cloud setup. So very important. Let's look at the next one. So next one was GameStop. Just want to pause. You see the GameStop also pushing our 1 hour cloud MTF trade. So that was also MTF long. You can see I gave in the game plan as well here, right here. Let's look here. Neutral bias, long or MTF, short under it. Simple setup. Push over the MTF, watch for the pullbacks, take it long. 28, 25 key, and it was a nice push. You could make nice money from 28 to $30. You could $1.50, and you get out when 512 breaks. Today was a great day to trade 1 hour MTF Cloud. What is a 1 hour MTF Cloud? It's 1 hour Ripster EMA Clouds that I can show on any time frame. MSTR was another great example for the MTF long. If you see that, I gave the MSTR long over the pivots because we had it. There are our pivots, 386, 390. So that was MSTR. We know that MSTR sold off a bit, bouncing from 20 EMA or the daily MTF there. So today when it turned bullish, that was my signal that it's 1 hour is bullish. See, it has been choppy. Every time it goes over 1 hour, been rejecting it, but today it moved over the 1 hour in the pre-market, and then I said, you put your stops under the 512 clouds and trade it long. It was a nice long from the morning. Idea ran 389 towards 400. It did break down here. I did tell everybody you can lock it and watch again, and then it reclaimed. I sent another alert where it reclaimed. The reclaim means you get back long because it's bouncing from 3450, and look at the reclaim, it continued to push. So MSTR was again long all day. If you held, you had to be a little flexible managing the position sometimes, right? Because support resistance is much more important with, even if it's pulling back, that's fine. If you have too big a position, reduce it, and watch it and get back in and trade that. Not a clean trend. The clean trend is like Tesla or Google, where the 512s never break. When there's a trend like this, you just have to manage it closely, or if you don't like it, exit it. But MSTR was also 1 hour MTF cloud long. I want to recap few other names. For example, there was CrowdStrike, not a stock that I guided long, but just still want to show you the power of the 1 hour MTF clouds. So you can see that recovered over 512's crowd, 3450 clouds, that's a long, and then pushed over the MTF clouds and all day long. So that's the power of the system, guys. It was a short from the MTF 2 days ago and today, and bearish. The system tells you when the things get bullish, and that's how you trade those MTF long setups, right? So let's look here, another one. So I just want to recap RBLX, right? Again, RBLX was not one of our guidance plays, but I'm just trying to show you the power of the 1 hour MTF clouds, just to show you, right, that how the system works. That RBLX is pushing over MTF clouds, it becomes bullish. Once something pushes over 1 hour cloud, it's becomes more bullish because 1 hour trend is changing and everybody jumps in, right? So we had RBLX on our game plan, up in the pre-market, but you could literally long it on this trend move here and take it all the way to 61. There were a lot of crazy, insane amount of flow on RBLX coming in all day, that I talked about the flow in the trader room. William, Navy Vet, a lot of traders were long. Jason were long. Those were all community trades. They were on it. So we trade with a system. That's why we have so much success. That's why we trade high probability. That's why we can trade in a short market, bear market, bull market, choppy market. We can trade in all those markets, right? So just wanted to recap the power of the MTF clouds in this video. All right, let's look at Macy's now. So Macy's, our initial plan, let's look at our previous market game plan. Bearish buys to short the pops, but cautious of 512 calls. So what happened? The amateur move was bearish. Okay, so amateur move were bearish. So Macy's, so we were, let's look at here. Macy's, if I can show you Macy's, see if it comes here. Let's see if I can find it. Where is Macy? Should be somewhere here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, because M brings a lot of other plays. So anyways, I couldn't find that, but I did say we short it. But you see the amateur move was short. But when amateur move is not giving you short because we are not breaking the pre-market lows, you get long, 512 long. So that's why I told everybody 512 bullish, no short now. So that was a 512 call setup on M that became bullish, and a lot of traders were long on Macy's because of that. And then Macy's ran away from 512s to the 3450s, and it even pushed higher all day towards the MTFs. So literally the 15 calls went from, I think they went from great trade for small accounts. Small accounts should focus on these setups. They make much better sense. That it's the short is not working. You take a long, put your stops here, 1470, 30 cent risk, and you're making more than $1.50. That's one risk to 3, 4, 5 reward trade. And if you want to see at the 15 calls, they went from 30 cents, 40 cents to $1.50. So literally you're making like a 300%, winner there on those calls. Stay close to the money, but if you're a small account, if you put $300 in there, you're literally making $1,000 on those setups. All right, so that was a good setup. Let's look at next one. So next one we're going to look at is MDB. So MDB was our long, did not really hold, so we had to cut it, but it was a long versus 295. The stops were at 295. We never hit our stops. Day 2 long versus 295, 305 first target, 306 second target. We did hit our 305 target, but we did not hit our 306 target. So long from 295, 296 is wherever you want to long it, and your stops are there. If you're longing 298, you have $3 stops, but you're making $6, 2 reward to 1 risk. I was a little hesitant because the stocks usually don't really make a big reversal on the day 2. It's usually day 3, day 4. So I was a little hesitant. Regardless, a lot of traders were long on MDB, and I was guiding them to the long side on MDB. And you can see that a lot of folks were long: Rook, Mike Side, Emerald, Dutchy, Raj, Matty, Jazz. So everybody was focused. There's a beauty of our community, right? Raj, there, everybody was focused there. Not a great super trade, but definitely a winning trade. You could make some chump change there, decent move. We will keep eyes on it in coming days. I'm going to talk about one of our morning chop loser, which was play Dave and Buster's. I called the short on the play, but it was too much choppy, and short here when it pushed up, took a loss there, 50, 60 cents loss. But it gave another setup in middle of the day. I did not watch it. You see how 3450 rejected, so you could short it here when you see third triple top on the trend line 3450, and you can fade it all the back. So the bias was correct, the management was wrong because it chopped us here, right? It chopped us here. So it will happen sometimes. Remember, when the shorts do not break the pre-market lows, it's not confirmed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That tells you it's going higher. But then it finally breaks the pre-market lows end of the day, and then it fades, right? So that's something to note. I have covered this extensively. One of the concepts is you can use this concept to manage your risk and get in and out of the stock with confidence. All right. So another one, last one we're going to cover is Amazon. So Amazon was also, was a nice long there. Again, these are all the market longs, right? Again, Amazon was an MTF long. You can see that it's bouncing over MTF. So you know that it's over MTF. It can push, and SPY is long, strong. QQQ is strong. Tech is strong. I did talk about this flag setup at 10 a.m. and then it pushed towards 231. Breaks 512, you get out. So guys, these are the repeatable setup. This is how you make profits in the market, keeping the losers small. We have a repeatable system. I have a repeatable setup that, there's a reason that is changing lives every day, because nobody teaches you this repeatable setup like I have. So yes, if you like the content, I don't say it much, but yes, share with everyone. Maybe that how they say, like, subscribe, or whatever. But hope you keep learning, keep educating. Make sure to ask any questions in the comments. Take care. Bye bye. Thanks.